Hello folks, Russ Scala here with Scala Precision Health. I want to share with you some research today with the child obesity epidemic. We get calls every week from families that are looking for answers. And one of the things I realize is the first thing that we have to do is we have to dispel some myths for the family members, letting them know it's not about calories, it's not about just exercise. We recently partnered with professional treatment centers in Winter Park, which is an addiction center, and we're taking the obesity program to a next level, taking some of the training that we've done and the research we've done on addictions. As you can see with this chart, we have non-chemical and chemical addictions. We could take this treatment that we've learned from addicts over 20 years and apply it to the obesity market to work on cravings and triggers. So this is going to be, you're going to be hearing some things here you never heard before, folks. But I want you to understand that a lot of this information comes from paleophysiologists. It comes from tracking different cultures around the world the last 100,000 years. I became a triathlete in the early 80s. So I'm running, I'm racing around the country. It took me about 2 years to get my strength back. And I was riding like 300 miles a week, running 30 and swimming about 10,000 yards. And I would go to races and I would wait for the people to cross the finish line to cheer them on. And I noticed a lot of these people were overweight. They're crossing the finish line of a large race. Some of the races I did were actually called half Ironman races, which is a 1.5-mile swim, 56-mile bike, followed by a 13-mile run. You cross the finish line in about 5 hours. So that's a lot of training. So back then, with my knowledge of physiology and being a paramedic, I would walk into the medical tents and I would see arrhythmias on some of these really fit triathletes. I would see a lot of the over 40 triathletes, men and women, were overweight and carrying excess body fat. And that was in 1996, and that threw me a major curveball. I'm like, why, if it's calories in, calories out, these people are training, hundreds of miles a week, why are they not burning any body fat? And this is sort of my evolution. So back in 1996, myself, Patrick Davis, and a lot of the triathletes in our group in Winter Park, Florida, we had a large triathlon group. A few of us started using the ketogenic diet. And when we cut the carbohydrates out of our diet, even though our training suffered, we were able to burn body fat and utilize it for fuel while training. We know that in some children, pre-diabetic children, that a half a slice of bread can shut off fat burning. Imagine that, folks. A half a slice of bread can elevate blood glucose and elevate insulin levels and shut off fat burning for 4 hours in some children that are carbohydrate sensitive. So when we look at chemical and non-chemical addictions, tobacco, food, alcohol, caffeine, drugs, and the non-chemical addictions, gambling, sex, shopping, the internet, they release something down here called dopamine. Once dopamine falls in this pathway, it could be a craving for Skittles, for instance. It could be a craving for chocolate. Will elevate dopamine levels. So what we want to do with the child obesity program is do advanced blood work, look at the mitochondrial function, look at nutritional and hormonal deficiencies, and measure the neurotransmitters in the brain. If a child, male or female child, has low neurotransmitters for a variety of reasons, so we measure the neurotransmitter levels before we put somebody on the program at Scala Precision Health. And we look at their brain chemistry and we try to correct these deficiencies by elevating their dopamine levels, by using protein, by using certain essential fatty acids. Once you correct nutritional deficiencies, this helps with the impact of cravings. So the kids are medicating themselves with food. So what we have to do is think about the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. The amygdala is our pleasure center, and it influences our prefrontal cortex, our decision-making center. So if we have a child, male or female child, that's already deficient, nutritionally, hormonally deficient, and they have low circulating dopamine levels, and we know that a half a slice of bread could shut off fat burning, we have to correct those neurotransmitter levels. Because folks, understand this, carbohydrates are poor man's Prozac. When a kid eats carbohydrates, he may have had a tough day at school, he's eating simple carbohydrates, white rice, bread, and pasta, and he elevates serotonin levels and he feels good. He's calm. Well, that can become an addiction, and that's sort of what we're going to focus on, okay?
Traditional medicine has failed to slow the obesity epidemic. At Scala Precision Health, our first job is to educate families on basic physiology and what biochemical individuality is. There have been 76,000 diets since the 1800s. This causes confusion for the American people. Across the country, obesity-related healthcare costs $147 billion to $210 billion.
So when I'm trying to educate families, when families really don't know what to do, their kids are going to school and they're being fed junk food at school, how does a family navigate that? So I want the families to get together as a community. And I want them to talk about this. And we have classes inside of families' homes all the time for families in the neighborhood. And I want them to think about this. I want you to look at this carbohydrate sensitivity as a peanut allergy. Because if a kid has a peanut allergy and he ends up in the emergency room, everybody in the neighborhood knows not to feed the kid peanuts. So as an example, if a kid has a carbohydrate addiction or if the kid is carrying a little extra weight, then everybody in the neighborhood should know not to feed the kid cake and things like that. Now they say, Russ, so what about parties? I don't want to keep my child away from living life. I understand that. If he's overweight now, he's going to continually gain weight. He has to learn good habits. So the good habits is understanding physiologically that half a slice of bread can shut off fat burning. A half a slice of bread can elevate dopamine, that feel-good chemical, can elevate serotonin and actually relax you for the rest of the day when you eat it. Folks, there's been about 76,000 diets since the early 1800s. It's very confusing for families out there. There is the paleo diet, the pescatarian diet, the carnivore diet, the ketogenic diet, there's fasting. So when a family is Googling this for their own child, their own family, they're going to be inundated with thousands and thousands of articles. What we want to do at Scala Precision Health is we want to customize a gender-specific diet that's tailored to the individual's deficiencies and their brain chemistry to cut that time down for families to 30 days so they can start the fat-burning process. Hey folks, thanks for watching and please share this information. Check us out at Scala Precision Health. See the Russ Scala YouTube channel and my book, American Biohacker.
The time is now for you to take control of your health. Everybody and every body has a story. Let us find out yours today.